Hello and welcome back to Darren Doing. I'm Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman. Ben, how you doing, mate? How's your stag do? You went on a stag do over the weekend? How was it?
Stag. I mean, it wasn't my stag do, to be fair. It was one of my mates who is also a Tottenham fan. It was great. It was quality, mate. I'm knackered still, but I got back yesterday. But you know, I'm getting there. It was quality though. It was
hanging?
fun. Not really. Just like well, I was a bit. I am a bit, but like more just like tired than anything. Today's been a long day.
Really? Yeah. No, you've been busy. I got really drunk the night of the Spurs Ipswich game. I went to Spoons with my mate, and I was in Domino's Pizza in town, get a cheeky little discount because obviously.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously I'm their best driver, and I was eating that till like 3 a.m. I had work at this coaching company, like coaching kids football, at like first thing in the morning. I had to pull myself together, absolutely lock in, and I made it through the session without being sick. Fine. I actually got a lot better after the first like half hour. That was the hardest point, and then just we go again, ready to go. So I sort of firmed it and actually felt quite good. I think hangovers is like, or being ill and stuff, it's in your head a little bit.
It's in your head. In your head.
I feel like when you get up and out, you just sort of get on with it. When you go to bed, it's even. I don't know. But I had to lock in. Right.
Nice.
But we got a question here, Ben. Before we get into the Ipswich game, because obviously Tottenham, we're fucking back. We're back. We're making our way up the league. Everyone's dropping points.
Oh, yeah.
Longest win streak in the. Did you see Inverted Wings say like, oh, Postecoglou, he's going to get another Manager of the Month award? He actually could if he beats Man City, which I think would cement his managerial, like a Manager of the Month award. Actually, before we get into anything. How amazing is it? I know. Like we've had Aston Villa, we've had Liverpool in this sort of in between the Brentford, United, and Ipswich game. But to get 3 wins in the Prem on the bounce after everyone and their nan saying he should be sacked, and imagine him winning the Manager of the Month award. I mean, he does
always win things. Wrong. He does always win things in his second season. To be fair, won a Manager of the Month award.
Yeah. See, I told you, everyone. I told you,
mate. Don't doubt me. I'll deliver. I'm like a postman, mate. I was fucking deliver.
Mate, I would do anything for him to just like I don't know, just give digs at everyone that's doubted him over this last like 6 months. To be fair, including myself, and to be fair, I still am a bit sceptical, but I mean.
Yeah, but I think everybody has doubts. That everybody's had doubts. I don't think anybody's been just blindly like backing him. Or I think people have. There's a difference between like backing him and then just like, I think some people have. I don't know. Maybe there's not. I don't know. Like, you're allowed to have doubts and still believe in him. Like, I think that's where some people.
I feel like I'm stabbing him in the back though. When every time I be like, he's a shit man. No, he's not. But like every time he like does something like that's a bit like, oh, Ange, man, what are you doing? I don't really want to talk about it because I just love him so much. He's such a big, like, cuddly bear. Like, I don't want to criticise him, but I feel like I have to. But I mean, it's massive for him and at the end of the day, it's perfect. I texted you the other day saying like, how nice is it where you're watching a Spurs game and you don't care for the consequences because we got nothing to lose. Like the pressures and the nerves just like almost go, and you're watching it and you can just enjoy Tottenham for the like until the Europa League games. We just enjoy them and like week in week out, seeing us play football, seeing players like Jed Spence thrive, seeing new players Danso like developing the team, and I don't know. It feels good, and I feel like. In a weird way, crashing out of the competitions. I'm going to gaslight myself to put a positive spin on it. But, like, it's kind of just relieved Ange a little bit as well because there was a lot of pressure riding on him, a lot of so-called like consequences if we don't go through on the cups and stuff. Yeah. Now we've got Europa League, we've got a good run. And actually, we haven't talked about we can talk about the...
Whoa!
Do. I actually think we're going to win it.
We could do.
I actually think... I'm so convinced. But I think...
Could we?
I kind of feel like it's kind of going... I don't know. I mean, we got to wait till the end of the season. We knew we were going to wait till the end of the season to have this sort of like Ange Postecoglou assessment. But I feel like if we can get a good run of games with no pressure, it's just going to look really good for him.
Yeah, I agree. Like we've got, I mean, I didn't realise how quick the turnaround is between, not between, like before the next Europa League game. Like I didn't realise it's next Thursday, the first leg of the Alkmaar game.
What is it?
Yeah, it's next Thursday. Because you think about it, like in normal circumstances they do the draw in like December, and then or sorry, not normal circumstances, but like in the previous format. They do the draw in December, and then you play the first round of 16 game in like February or whatever. But obviously this time, because of the playoffs, you've had to wait this whole time to find out. Like, and obviously we've carried it on into the new year with the 2 extra games. It just feels like a little bit like, oh, they've done the draw, and then next week is the game. You know,
I never knew that.
Yeah, so it's away. We're obviously away first to Alkmaar, and then it's a home, and then so like obviously we've had a run of games where we've had a bit of a rest. So it's going to start coming more thick and fast from next week, because we play City on Wednesday this week. Then we aren't playing this weekend because we're not in the FA Cup, obviously. So we've got over a week off until the Alkmaar game. Then we play Bournemouth on the Sunday, and then we play Alkmaar on the Thursday in the second leg. So, I didn't really realise how quick of a turnaround it is. But yeah, it's good to kind of just like, I think like maybe look, it was very disappointing to go out of both cups, but maybe it has relieved him of some sort of pressure. And I don't know if it's that. I think it's more just like, it's one of those things where it's amazing what happens when you get 5 players back in it. It's amazing what happens when you've got options that you can kind of bring into the team and rotate and actually be able to sort of play the football that you want to play again. Like we rode our luck a little bit on Saturday at times, but it looked, in some of the play, like it looked far more like Tottenham. We were far more sharp. We were far more kind of precise in the build-up. And yeah, Ipswich are obviously destined for relegation probably, but you know, we didn't beat them the first time when we should have beaten them, and we kind of put them to the sword on Saturday. I don't think it was necessarily like a 4-1 game, but we played well. It was much better, and it's just a bit of momentum building now it's momentum building and just a bit of confidence. Like, winning is a habit, and if you can kind of get into that habit just before you're about to go into your most important period of the season, where, like you said, pressure's off a little bit now in the league, kind of means that we can potentially put a bit of a run together, which means we can climb back up the table and get near those European places maybe, but focus on the Europa League and really get some good results in there and kind of progress far. So yeah, it's just about taking still one game at a time and just building that momentum and just building the confidence back, I think.
I know, and you're seeing like the cohesion come back to life as well. I feel like you're seeing the patterns of play, like the little combinations, and I mean, I think Madison's influential to that. We got a question from Matt Sappola saying, "Is Madison the most underappreciated, underrated player we have by our fan base? If not, who would you say?" I think it is Madison. And it's weird every time like people talk about Madison. A lot of the time they'll refer to themselves as well and be like, "Even I've given him stick." Like everyone says that, but. Again, he has had a very like disrupted sort of life at Spurs. I think a lot like start and stop whenever he tries to get a bit of momentum. Yeah, and he's set his own standards so high, and he's kind of been like the architect of his own downfall just because how good he is in certain games. So when he doesn't match that, you get frustrated at him. But I don't know, you're seeing the importance after not having him in the team for a long time. I feel like now we can really appreciate him, because before, when he got injured last season, when he came back, he didn't hit the ground running. He struggled to get back to his best. Now he's instantly got back to his best, so or like to a very good level. So we do realise that we've missed him. Whereas last year it was like, why aren't we seeing the Madison from the first 10 games of the season? Like, oh fuck me, like he's had this injury's like ruined him, all this stuff, and I feel like you're just seeing a Madison. But to be fair, I mean, you're seeing a Madison without much pressure on him. We haven't. These are sort of free hits, these games, and he's thriving. And that's the thing. This is what we were talking about last pod. We were talking about being in the Europa League, treating these Premier League games as just like free hits. Get your confidence up. Get the cohesion going again, get the chemistry going, and get sharp for these knockout games that mean the world to us this season, because that's our lifeline. Europa League, that's our lifeline. But I've got another question for you, Ben, mate. You wake up to find Jed Spence is an inch inside of you, and at the same time you're an inch inside Kevin Danso. How many times do you go back and forth getting up? Cheers, lads, up at Spurs. That's from KB. Thanks, KB. Cheers, mate.
What's the how many times I go back and forth before getting up?
Yeah, so you wake up then, yeah?
Yeah.
You wake up, you're opening your eyes, you rub your eyes, like, fucking hell, like, well, I'm in so much pain and so much joy at the same time. and then you look up and go, fucking hell, big Kev. And then you look behind you and think, oh, you're right, Jed. How many times do you sort of wiggle your way before getting up?
It's like, oh, sorry, I'll just sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get out of the way in a
Fuck's
second.
sake, boys.
Yeah,
10 more minutes of this, I'm going to get really fucking pissed off.
Yeah, not again. At least, probably, especially if he keeps scoring goals and keeps playing, well, not keeps scoring goals, but if he scores again like he did on Saturday and keeps playing like he is, I'm going back at least 10 times and forward 10 times.
I'm not getting up, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd get up. I'd try not to make it weird, but like I'd enjoy it.
What are you talking about? What's not weird about that? You fucking get
that's normal. Yeah. Mate, everyone's getting. To be fair, everyone's getting pumped by Jets.
Yeah,
these
to be
days,
fair,
so I'm just going to join the. I'm just going to join the crowd, mate.
When do you wake up and Jed Spencer's hanging out the back of you, and you're hanging out the back of Kevin Danso? I mean, what? I mean, you'd wake up. You think you'd won the lottery? To be fair, I wouldn't get up. I would be like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm stuck.
Yeah,
I'm stuck.
No, not again. We've got to stop doing this, Kevin and Jed.
Yeah, thanks, KB. Good question.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
We also got another. Whilst we're just getting these, just rattling these questions away. Yeah, Joshua says, which Tottenham player do you think would be the best at scranning cheeks? That's eating arse, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
Sergio Reguilon. Just got the team up here. Sergio Reguilon. Not because he looks like that porn star.
Jordi El Nino.
Is that his name?
That's because I only know that because we keep saying we've said for ages that my mate looks like him.
Oh really?
Yeah, actually our old group chat picture used to be him with our mate's face photoshopped on top. I'll send you a picture and see if it's the same guy we're talking about.
Yeah, it has to be. Whoever looks like Sergio Reguilon, mate.
Jordi El Nino.
I mean, so he's got to have a secret. I know he's a footballer and he's probably a millionaire and that, but he's got to have a secret to why he keeps like putting these 10 out of 10s, because he's just so average looking. And
wait, has he got another girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's good for him because he ain't got much else going for him at Spurs, has he? I've just seen
maybe put him back in the team and see if his confidence levels are back on.
Nah.
Nah.
Is that him? Is that you talking about?
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Yeah.
What you say he looks like?
Sergio Reguilon, mate.
Yeah.
I think it'll be him or Pedro Porro. I feel like Pedro Porro is just a little bit of like, I feel like he'd be a little bit of like a sex freak.
Yeah, like a dog on heat.
Yeah, just rutting away, just constant. Never stops.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll be right with that, to be fair.
Yeah, or maybe just Dragusin.
Yeah.
Maybe Dragusin. He's got a lot of like time to kill. Obviously, he's done his ACL on that. So I think maybe just like scranning arse the way to go.
And he doesn't have to use his legs to do that. He could sit down or lay down doing that. So.
Yeah, lay down. Yeah, they can do the work. I mean, yeah, just keep your morale. Just keep your confidence up. So you're rearing to go, like
exactly.
rearing to go.
Well, literally rearing to go. She's rearing to go.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joshua. Thanks for that question. All right, let's get into the Ipswich game then, mate. What were your main takeaways? Because there were a lot, even down to like Dane Scarlett coming on and having a nice cameo.
Yeah.
Which is good for him, just getting his confidence up and stuff like that. But I don't have much to talk about apart from like individuals again. Like I mean, like you were saying, like shaky spells. Obviously, we won. It could have been. VAR obviously ruled a goal out. Like again, that the start to the game was shaky, but we're seeing a lot more of what we were excited about at the beginning of the season. A lot more. Like attacking quality, and it just comes down to individual brilliance, I think. What do you want to cover first? What were your takeaways from the game? Because obviously I haven't seen the video yet, but you've put on your match review on YouTube.
Yeah, I think for me, I think generally, obviously like we did ride our luck at points. We did first 5 minutes of the game. Like the disallowed goal was actually quite good defending just to hold the line, and you know it was pretty lazy from the Ipswich. I can't remember who it was at the back post who headed it in, and we were rocking a little bit at that moment of the game. But I thought the way that we established control actually after both goals that they scored, like, was pretty good. Especially the way we kind of come out in the second half. and really just put our foot on the ball for 10 minutes and just passed it around really nicely, created some decent opportunities. But I thought it was a pretty decent performance. I don't necessarily think it was like a 4-1 game, like I said earlier, but it doesn't have to be. Like, you know, we took our chances, we were clinical, and we obviously deserved to win it. And it's just, I thought, again, like you said, it was probably more about individuals, but I think there was definitely a lot more cohesion than I think we've seen in recent weeks. I think having a defender in Kevin Danso who can actually do what both Romero and Van de Ven can do in separate parts of his game. You know, like I think in terms of his ability to kind of bulldoze up the pitch, but also his ability to break lines and be really good on the recovery as well, kind of puts him into both. And also, he seems like a guy that just does love defending, and I think what he's got that Romero has, and people will always say this about Romero and question it. I'm getting a bit bored of this whole Romero being, he's all of a sudden coming back because Argentina's just around the corner. I just don't really care for that conversation anymore. Romero has got heart as a defender. He really does. He loves defending, and I think that Danso has got that as well. There was a moment, remember when Danso made that, I didn't actually notice it until I watched the game back earlier. Because of my experience of watching the game, I was watching it at a bar in Benidorm. So I wasn't exactly paying that much attention to the game at the time.
Yeah.
But
I watched it.
Yeah, and it was quite funny actually because I reckon there was about 18 of us that went on the stag, and 80% of us were Spurs fans. There was 2 gooners. They walked down the bar to another. They walked down the strip to another bar down the road to watch their little game that happened. And we was all sat in ours, and see them after was quite funny. But yeah, I didn't see it until I watched the game back this morning. But you know, remember when in the second half there was a moment where Danso was like up on the halfway line, and they played the ball in behind him, and he got back, made that recovery, and won the free kick. Do you remember that? In the second half, there was a moment where they like played the ball in behind. I can't remember who was running onto it. It wasn't Delap. There was an Ipswich forward running onto it, and Danso caught up with him, got in front of him, and the guy sort of pushed him over, and Danso went to the ground, got the ball, and as he came up, he was like proper gave it like a big celebration when he won the free kick, and it's like he's got a lot of heart, I think, as a defender. And again, one thing I didn't realise how good it was until I watched it back this morning. In the first minute of the game, you know, when Vicario saved it on the line, that clearance from Danso to get it away from Hutchinson was unbelievably good. I did not realise it. I didn't clock it. I thought it just, like, at the time of watching it, either thought it just hit him or he was a bit like, that was unbelievable to like hook it over his head to get it out, and obviously we were a bit fortunate, but again Vicario did well to kind of get back and recover, and yeah, we were a bit ropey those first 5 minutes. I think it was interesting what Ange was saying after the game about the centre-back partnership, about how he wanted to put Gray on the right and Danso on the left, and I think there was a few people moaning in like some of the group chats that I'm in, and there's a few people moaning on social media about like how Ange swapped them round, and I don't know why he did it. Delap was running Gray ragged in that right-hand channel, or Delap's left-hand channel, Gray's right-hand channel, which he was to an extent, but I think Delap is one of those strikers where if Gray was playing on the left, he'd go and pin himself on Gray. Gray's not centre-half, is he? Delap is a very clever striker that has made a reputation for himself in the league this season of being able to bully really good centre-halves. And of course, if you've got Kevin Danso, who is a 26-year-old, 27-year-old centre-back that is first and foremost a centre-back, and Archie Gray isn't. If you're Delap, you're gonna follow Gray, aren't you? You're gonna try and make Gray's life even harder. And he done him quite a few times in that first half, especially. I thought Gray recovered pretty well actually after the first 5-10 minutes. I thought after that was a pretty assured display. And he's always going to have big tests, isn't he? He's not centre-half. But Ange said that he wanted to play him on the right because he would feel that he's more comfortable there. He's more natural on that side. And also, Danso, he said that we're going to need Danso to play on the left in these upcoming weeks, which is interesting considering that there's pictures going around today of Romero back in training ahead of the Man City game.
That'd be fucking
Well, this is
insane.
the thing. I think, again, like, I made a video about this earlier on TikTok. I was talking about Danso. I was talking about Romero coming back, and I was talking about Danso. And I was like, the good thing is now is that, look, it's hard to say right now whether Danso is as good as Romero and Van de Ven. And I don't think he is. I don't think he's got as high a ceiling as them. I don't think he's quite as composed on the ball as Romero. And I don't think he's quite as good maybe on the recovery as Van de Ven. But Van de Ven's just a bit of a freak. But if you're going to get someone... What we've spoken about so much about Ange and this kind of system, especially at the back where we've had a lot of injuries, and it's kind of what we're seeing in the fullback areas right now. And this is why, like, I know we're going to talk about Spence and Doggy in a little bit probably, but like, I'm not as worried now about the Romero and Van de Ven thing because, yes, of course, it's a little bit of a drop to bring Danso in for one of them, but we're probably at a stage now after these first few games where, and again, I'm not saying they're as good as these players, but like where Arsenal have got Gabriel Saliba, like Calafiori, Ben White, Timber, it's like, I'm not saying we're there in terms of quality necessarily, but like if one of them has to come out, then at least you've got someone who is of nearly as good, or certainly has very similar attributes maybe to the players that are coming out. You're not putting in a Dragusin who's, obviously he's been very unlucky with the injury, but like isn't as composed on the ball as someone like a Danso, can't be brave and get up the pitch like Danso can. So yeah, and it's the same in the fullback areas. Like I don't really want to get drawn into this conversation that much about like who is our best fullback partnership, and I think that fans have to kind of get away from this idea of like best 11s and all this kind of stuff, best pairings. I think it's obvious for like the core of your team that you need to have that, but like in the fullback areas, I think we've got really good depth now. We have got Jed Spence has proven himself obviously to be excellent and super trusted, and I think Kevin Danso has come and done that from the off really. So it's like hopefully now we're in a place where Romero and Van der Ven do come back. If Ange just like for example like on Saturday where he didn't start Madison. He said I wanted to give him a rest. Obviously, he had picked up a little bit of a knock, brought him on for 60 minutes. We're in a position now where if everybody's back fit in 3 weeks' time or 4 weeks' time, Ange can go, actually, well, we've got that Europa League game on Thursday, so I'm going to play Danso and Romero and rest Van der Ven, like hypothetically, and Spurs fans can just be okay with that because Danso, I think, has proved himself to be someone who can do the things that we need to do in this system as a centre half. Like our build up, like we kind of referred to it earlier, but like our build up patterns feel a lot more connected and a lot more back to where they kind of were at our best with him in the back line. You've got technical players that can drive forward with the ball, and Spence, who wants, it's all starting to feel a little bit more like Tottenham. So, and I think Danso has helped with that massively. I think another player that is just, has come on so much, and I kind of centered my video around. And yes, we've all been excited about him, but Lucas Bergvall is like, this is not like. It's not normal, is it? It's not normal, and like that's what I put on the thing for my video. But it's true. Like it's what he's doing in terms of being an all-action round midfielder. In terms of like there was some, I said it in my video, but there was some like per 90 stats that he's kind of. Let me see if I can just get them up quickly. There was. Hang on a minute. Sorry,
he can do whatever he wants, can't he? He can choose whatever direction his career is going to go down, in terms of like positions. And again. You're actually going on a ripple effect tomorrow. Yeah. But you're going to be talking about sort of like the best players in each sort of zone, aren't you?
Yeah.
He doesn't. There's no such thing as positions anymore.
He's got a lot of freedom, hasn't he?
He could play in any zone in the midfield and thrive. Like he could play in any part of that midfield. He could play, like he could do. I genuinely feel like you could mould him right now. He's 18. You could mould him to. No, he's not. Is he 19 now?
No, he's just turned 19 a few weeks ago, yeah. You
can mould him into being like a playmaking 10, a number 6 because he's going to still physically develop, or a box 8. He could be anything you want. He's that good at this age, and it's ridiculous. How much of a fucking pleasure is it to like have him in our like disposal for 8 mil?
It's nuts,
ridiculous. Isn't it? How much would he cost if he was playing for us? Like, how much do you think he costs right now within 6 months of playing for us? Bearing in mind we got about 8 mil.
40, 50 mil.
Yeah,
easily.
And how much is that going to keep going up?
In the next 2 or 3 years, he'll be a £100 million player.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
His development since the new year, like since he started that Newcastle game, has been unbelievable. Like the maturity that he showed. The way that he imposes himself on games on and off the ball, like I got those stats up. He's averaging 53 successful passes per 90 with an accuracy of 90.6%. So he's not giving the ball away. He's also averaging 6.62 joules per 1 per 90, which again shows that physicality. He's winning 1.68 tackles per 90. He's averaging 1.56 successful dribbles per 90 and 1.93 interceptions. That was Gus, Yido Gus on Twitter, who's definitely worth a follow. Really sound guy. Who I think listens to the pod actually. He put that on Twitter earlier, and it just shows you. I think what we saw from Bergvall on Saturday, and I think we've kind of been saying this for a while now, but like or game by game, like and I saw Kish from Lily White Lab tweet the fact that he is arguably the most complete young midfielder in the world at that age. I mean, obviously you've got like Pedri and players like that. Maybe if you want to restrict it to the Premier League. Obviously, how old is Pedri? I mean, Pedri's like older.
Pedri's like fucking 25 years old now, isn't he?
Is he?
Is he 22?
He's 22. And you got like Gavi and youngsters like that. How old's Gavi? Gavi's a bit younger, isn't he?
Is
Gavi's
Gavi
20.
still playing, mate?
I
haven't heard about it. I haven't heard from him in like 2 years.
Well, they both got big injuries, them two, didn't they? Pedri and Gavi.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pedri's been amazing this season for Barca. But like, if you're thinking about, and of course, like it's a mad thing to say that he's the most complete young midfielder in the world. But like in the Premier League, I think, or even in the world, he's getting up there. Like
for the world,
if this kid, if Bergvall went to Barcelona, and I'm not joking when I say this, if he went to Barcelona, he would be getting the hype that like maybe not Yamal's getting, but like the hype would be off the scale. It absolutely would at this kid. The way he knits play together, the way he's got that physicality to. But like, how many times did you see him? Like I said, I think we've been saying it game after game after game now, but that was his most complete performance for Spurs, I think. And again, you have to factor in the level of the opposition, but it was a team that we lost to. He's just got this arrogance and swagger on the pitch where I think he's really he's refined his out of possession stuff a lot more. I think he was a little bit too erratic, headless chicken towards the start of the season. I think obviously everyone kind of points to that Galatasaray game, but I think the more you think about that Galatasaray game, actually, he's a young player in an environment where he's desperate to impose himself. Of course, he's going to be a bit erratic in an environment like that.
And maybe it's around that game. The whole team.
It wasn't great, was it?
He can't symbolise a performance at 18 years old playing.
And you think about the conversations that we were kind of having after that game about does he need a loan move and all this kind of stuff. Mate, some people were saying he needs to go on loan to the Championship. You can imagine if he went on loan to the Championship, he'd be the best player in the league.
Yeah,
like
that's including me, by the way. I was saying that, to be fair.
But I understand why people were saying it at the time. Like, I get it. I do get it. But like, I think I went so big on Bergvall in the summer watching him. You know when like you watch a player and you just think, no, he's unreal. And I just thought, be patient with him. There was a period around that sort of time where I was like, well, maybe this was before we got all the injuries as well, and he wasn't a first choice midfielder. So it was like, okay, well, this is a player that needs rhythm and regular game time. And actually, because of the injuries, that's what's happened. So, you know, hindsight is a powerful thing. If we didn't get the injuries that we got and the light in midfield and stuff especially, we haven't had loads of injuries in midfield, but there have been injuries that have paved the way for him to get more game time. We might have had those conversations. We might have continued those conversations about him going on loan to get some minutes somewhere. But he is broken into the team. And if you're thinking about, like I said, I know, I think fans kind of have to get away generally from this idea of like best 11s and stuff. Yeah. But if you're thinking about like hypothetically, if the Europa League final was tomorrow and we were in it, if you're thinking about what the locks are in that team, he plays.
Yeah.
He absolutely plays. The way that he just is able, like I said, knitting everything together. His off the ball work was so good on Saturday, barging players off it, give me the ball. I think one thing Kish said as well, which is a good observation from Lily White Lab, saying I think he just needs to. I think maybe sometimes he's guilty of holding on to the ball for a little bit too long. If he can kind of just go 1-2 touch a little bit more and just play a little bit more quickly, but he plays with so much zip and he runs around the pitch.
He does.
That move that I sent you for the screenshot for the thumbnail, where he combines. It's actually Danso does brilliantly to get us up the pitch and lay it off to him, and he's like the change of direction to get away from, I think it was Philogene, and then get away from Calvin Phillips to drive it inside. He just doesn't want it. He's playing at the moment now where, like we were saying, he was a little bit erratic before. He's playing with a handbrake off now, but it's so refined and so. Yeah. This is a player with so much confidence. Like, and he's got so much. Everything is there. Like if you give him the keys to Tottenham's midfield, and this is a guy that is just. I don't have many more words for Bergvall. He's an unbelievable talent. I genuinely believe that. Like an unbelievable talent.
His performance remind me what we were when we were watching his like highlight reels from last year, absolutely dominating the Swedish league, and like when you see the clips of him just steamrolling through these blokes, and he's just this like kid, just sort of twinkle toes, but he's still big and he's still shoulder barred and getting stuck in, and he does all the like the nitty gritty work as well. But we were getting excited, but we're thinking, how long would he have to adapt to the Prem? And obviously, this injury crisis has sped that up. And I mean, I was saying about him going to the Championship before the injury crisis, because I was saying there's so much of his game that is just going to get refined just from playing game in, game out, which I didn't think he'd get at that time. because he had, and we were saying it, he had every element, every facet, every mineral of a top quality player. From his physicality, his agility, his athleticism, his technicality, everything, and he just needed to just refine and iron out those little mistakes in his game, and that's what he's been doing since he's been brought into the team. And again, I mean, his decision making is probably the last thing that needs to just be a little bit refined. But even that, you're seeing a lot better. There's a lot. I mean, there's a movement in the game where. Does he? I can't remember. He's in a bit of a risky area if he's going to lose the ball. He doesn't. He just taps it 1-2 round a player, and it's just like he's just quick with it. He's quick with his thinking, and you can see he's in that flow state that he wasn't in when he was first introduced.
And now it's down to like rhythm and regular game time,
exactly,
isn't it? And that's why it wasn't about ability that he needed alone.
Nah,
it was
never,
like we said
never.
more. It was just about like getting that actual regular game time. And when you've like, it's just, you know what, like. I do worry, and I don't really care actually, to be honest. But like, you know how like, I feel like football discourse online has just changed so. Well, I was going to say it's changed so much from like 10, 15 years ago, whatever. But it wasn't really a thing in terms of what it is now. But like, he reminds me a lot of like what Modric was for Spurs. Like, not necessarily in terms of the physicality and the off the ball stuff, because Modric was far more lightweight than Bergvall. But like, players didn't really want to get near Modric because like. He just was so good at kind of unpicking the lock and just like, just kind of setting the tempo of the game. And I think that's the thing with Bergvall, is that with his energy and his desire to go forward and just be there, he's always kind of providing an option. That's where you see the Modric stuff, I think.
Yeah.
And like I was going to say I worry, but then again, I don't really care about what people say. I think it's going to get a few years down the line. And I don't think Bergvall, although he's obviously scored the goal against Liverpool for us, I don't think he's going to be heaping up the kind of goals and assists necessarily, because I think his role in this Tottenham team, whether it's under Ange or not in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, even I know Ange said he hopes he's still here then to kind of still oversee it, but I think playing this system is where you're kind of going to see the best out of him, because he's kind of got that more of a free role. I remember Harry Redknapp doing an interview where he was talking about Modric, because when Modric first came through at Spurs, everyone will remember, under Redknapp, he was kind of playing on the left a lot. And then there was one game that we played against, I think it was against Arsenal actually, in the North London derby, where when we went on that run when we got Champions League, he said to Joe Jordan, who was the assistant, I want to play him in the middle. And Joe Jordan was like, nah, he's going to get eaten alive. And then you play him in the middle, he was unbelievable. Then you play him in the middle on Saturday against the Chelsea side, who have got like Ballack, Essien, Lampard, like all monsters, and Modric was just in there finding little pockets of space. And Bergvall's got that, plus the physicality to actually be able to really compete with these big boys if they want to get tight to him, because it would just make him look silly. Yeah. And that's where again, different in terms of what they're being asked to do, but like we were speaking about some like La Liga players just there. Like we spoke about this a few weeks ago about like how he's got a very physical, similar physical frame to Bellingham. He's not as like gangly. I say gangly, like he's not as like Bellingham looks taller. Do you know what I mean? If you're looking at Bellingham on the pitch, he looks.
Oh, he's filled out. Bellingham at his age looked like Bergvall.
Yeah, and Bergvall's like 6'1" or 6 foot. He's at least 6 foot, and he doesn't look it because he looks like a little blonde like twink. Do you know what I mean? Like twink. He doesn't. Yeah, like he doesn't look it, but he is, and it's like it must be one of those things where, again, I feel like I've said it before, and I think at Ipswich he just ran that game and controlled it. But like, if you go to Spurs and you watch him when you're actually at the game and you're just kind of watching him go around the pitch, I think, and you see him in the duel and stuff like that, I think that's when you get a real sense of like his presence on the pitch, like in terms of his physical presence as well. He's an amazing footballer. Like, and I'm just like, you think about this time a year ago, there'd be no way you'd be thinking, and football never works in the way that you think it's going to, but there is absolutely no way we thought we'd be here with him now. He's a lock in that team for me. I think it's almost made like, I don't think Sarr's a guaranteed starter anymore for us, when I think that was definitely the case. Obviously there's conversations to be had around whether you want to play Bergvall and Madison from the start in these games, but I think Bergvall does so much work off the ball, and I think his ability to combine, like one thing I loved about Saturday was 65 minutes he takes off a Doggy and Johnson because they've not played a lot of football and they've just come back, and he said that I wanted to do that. It was pre-planned to save them for the games that we've got coming up. Madison and Porro come on. The technical floor of the team arguably gets better with them coming on the pitch. Those two with Porro and Madison, and you saw Madison's footwork for the goal, and if you're keeping Madison that fresh to be able to bring him on and have an impact, and also keep the ball, recycle it, don't give it away when you're trying to hold on to a lead. We've spoken so much about like the element of control in Spurs' system, and why that means that we can't manage games how we should do. I don't think that's even a system thing necessarily. Well, it is part of that because, yeah, if you give the ball away, you leave yourself exposed to how aggressive Spurs can be. But, like, if you've got players like Madison and Odebear, obviously I want to give Sonny his flowers in a bit as well, but, like, Odebear coming on and having that technical security, Spence as well, going over to that left-hand side. That left-hand side, the way they were knitting things together in that last 25, 30 minutes of the game, when Madison was floating out there, Bergvall was floating out there, Odebear was out there, Spence was out there. You know, having that technical, like, and also just the ability to actually make proactive changes and kind of see a game out and just not let that level drop. Whereas I feel like in previous games, we didn't have anything to turn to on the bench at all. Whereas now it's like, okay, well, right, we can save Madison a bit for Wednesday, get him fresh, get him some minutes into the legs ahead of that game. We're going to take you off. We're going to take a doggy off because he's not played much football. We weren't able to do that at all before.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We can actually manage this squad a little bit more now. It's just like, hallelujah. It's just, it feels like we've kind of come out the end of the tunnel now. And we've still got players to come back, obviously. But again, that technical floor of that team did not drop off when those substitutions were made, which is not what you can say when you couldn't have said that weeks ago. And that has helped so much.
Season.
Exactly. And that helps so much being able to control games and see them out. And that's what we did well on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, I'll go back to Bergvall. Last thing on Bergvall, because I was going to say, like, I think the only thing that's missing now is him adding goals and assists, but the position he's in, and he's always been compared to, like, De Jong as well. And I remember Ten Hag saying when he was Ajax manager, or when he wanted Ajax, he wanted De Jong at Man United when he was heavily linked. He was saying how De Jong is the assist before the assist. He opens up the pitch. He picks a lock and he passes it to the player that then passes to the player. That's going to be Bergvall, I think. But goals will come as well because his box crashing, he's got the ability to, and even his long shots, I feel like they're going to slowly get better. I feel like we've seen this much improvement in such a short time for him, just from playing games. And now we're in a situation where he's one of the only players that, I mean, we've been begging for our players to come back. He's one of the players that have taken over a whole position through this injury. Because I don't see him getting dropped. He's one of our most informed players, and now we're in a situation where he's going to keep playing. He's going to keep getting refined. He's going to turn into an unbelievable player, and it's just sped up his development really, really quick. It's so good to see. But like we were talking about Danso, and like we were saying about having this team, and with Danso, with Bergvall and these types of players like Spence, and we'll get into Spence and the doggy in straight after this. But I mean, we're seeing a situation now, where players are out and nothing changes because they fit the system.
Yeah, exactly.
And with Danso, that's all we needed. That's why we didn't want Skriniar when we were being linked. Everyone was going, that's such a fucking terrible idea. Yeah. That's why Dragusin is such a weird signing, because you do not want, and Ange isn't going to change, you don't want a player to come in and all of a sudden the system doesn't work because they completely nullify like what we're trying to do just because they don't have the physical ability, like pace in a high line or technicality to beat the press. And Danso, I mean, he's competent with passing, but it's his drive forward. He's got that Van der Ven drive where he just switches it on and powers his way through and carries the ball up. And a lot of the time, football's so based on patterns. When you've got a bulldozer that carries through teams don't know how to react to that because they're so attuned to how the game's normally played. That's why you're seeing like a new meta of footballers that can just drive through and progress through a team. They're so key right now. When we've got like Danso who can do that, and Van der Ven when he comes back, or Danso to do that, Spence can do the exact same thing. Yeah,
Bergvall.
We've got those players. Yeah, we have. Yeah. And I feel like that's all we wanted. Danso, he didn't cost a lot of money. We got him on a loan to buy 25 mil. City spent 50 mil on Kushinov from the same club. Do you know what I mean?
I do really like Kushinov though. To be fair.
Me too. But I'm saying like we've signed like someone who can fit the system. like Kushner probably could, but we've signed an established defender. He's an established defender. He loves defending. So
yeah, I also think for right now, like I think we needed. I would have been happy with either, to be honest, because I think Kushner is a really great prospect. But when you've got Vuskovic coming through next year, I think we needed a Danso right now.
Yeah, we did massively.
Like I was saying earlier, like about that heart and that leadership at the back. I think he's really got that. I do really think so. I really like him. I really like him.
It seems really humble as well, and just passionate, loves football and loves defending. But
well, also like you think about. Sorry, just one more thing I was going to say about that. Like with Kushner, it's like I think he's done really well actually since he's been at City. But like this is a guy who can't speak any English. He's 20 years old, and Danso is, he's from England, so he's a great communicator. He's very clear, and it's like you can see. I think that leadership kind of coming in already, and he's gonna. Yeah,
but I'm saying that him being established, him being a leader, because he was a leader at Lens. Him obviously being an English speaker. I mean, if you listen to him, you'd think he was English. Obviously, there's no language barrier there. So like, I feel like him coming in and hitting the ground running is massive for him, because if we did sign like a Kushner, because I'm saying because we were linked with him like at the beginning of the January transfer window, there would be that bedding in phase. We don't have that with Danso. We can just crack on. And now we're seeing a situation where a player gets injured, or not even that, a player doesn't get picked. And we almost don't even notice it, because when we'd see a Dragusin or we'd see a player that didn't fit the system, a Højbjerg or whatever, when they'd start, or Emerson Royale, we'd think, fuck's sake, like, they're going to be a weakness in this team. Whereas maybe the level drops off, but the role and the profile doesn't. And we can just carry on doing what we do and just keep playing this system and you can see the effects of it and working with. So we saw Spence and a doggy that partnership for the first time. What do you think of that?
I loved it. I love a doggy. I
really
do.
He's been missed. Another one that we don't know how good he is until he comes back in the team.
This is what I mean. Like, I just think that this is why I don't care that don't get me wrong. This is nothing against Jed Spence, because we've spent the last few months giving him all the praise in the world. And again, he was great on Saturday. I'm not taking anything away from Spence, but this is why, like, I don't want to get drawn into these conversations that like the wider like Spurs fan base is having about like what's our best fullback partnership, because we've got 3 players who we can kind of really rotate, and they give us different things, but they also kind of give us similar things, and that's why they're good fits for what we want to do. And I thought Spence was great. Great again. Great to see him kind of being threatening in the final third. His ball carrying ability is a joke. So strong in the duel again.
Love his sister. Love his mum.
Yeah, did you see their interview with that guy when they were talking about Chelsea? They had an interview with Vicario's mum as well. And also one thing, sorry, just why I think of that, and we said it on the pod on Monday or whenever we did the one after the United game. Having Vicario back is huge. It's absolutely huge. Yeah, and again, him with Danso at the back and
bit of experience, little bit of experience, that little sprinkle.
Exactly. But I thought a doggy played really well. I thought he played really, really well. He gave us that thrust going forward. I also think, like, and again, we'll talk about Sonny too, but like, I know it's obvious because Son and the doggy have played together. That's been the most used left side pairing, obviously. Some players are just more attuned to playing with each other, and I think Sonny always play. Spencer's been great at left back, but I actually think Sonny's been really poor. And I think Sonny was better at the weekend because he's been more fresh and had that rest. But I think they have a good relationship, Son and the doggy. I think they really do, and I think you saw that on Saturday. But I also think it was more down to Sonny's individual improvement as much as that. But a doggy driving forward with that thrust, again, he's got that similar to Spence, where he keeps the ball so close to his body, and he's got that physicality. He's hard to press, hard to get the ball off. I thought he was great. It didn't look like a player that's been out for like as long as he has. And obviously, he was a player that didn't come on against United last week. He was on the bench, so first football in nearly 2 months, and he come in and was really good. And I love the doggy. I just think again, people. Just some of the conversations that were being had around him is just nuts, really. I really like him. And again, Spence, I thought, again, it was just another brilliant game. And what is he? I think there were some really good performances from some fullbacks over the weekend, some English fullbacks, not necessarily by Trent Alexander-Arnold, but like Lewis Hall, I thought was really good for Newcastle on Saturday. And we've spoken about this before, but like he's just growing in confidence. You saw that in the celebration, having that moment. Like I don't think he was his best performance necessarily like he's had in this run. I actually think that was maybe last week against United, but the level didn't really drop at all. But to have that moment just to I don't know, like the fans love him anyway. The fans have always been on Spence's side. Like we've always said this, but like to have that moment just to kind of crown what a brilliant run this has been, and it's not going to slow down. Hopefully, he's just going to keep accelerating like that. And I think he's got to be in England squad conversations this time. Well, it's this time next month, the next international break. So he's got to be in those conversations, and what a reward that would be for an excellent way to turn his career around. And again, like Ange was speaking before the game about like how he like purposely tested him in this stuff, and it's like I was a little bit miffed at that because it was like, yeah, well, we really could have done with him. So like, he's a bit annoying.
It was all part of fucking master player, mate.
Yeah, but I also don't really care. I don't really care how we've got.
And we're 15th, mate.
Yeah, it's like,
let's speed up this process.
Yeah,
Whatever you're trying to do, let's do it in the summer, Ange, mate. Come on, when we're in Europa League or something.
Yeah,
we're sinking here.
Yeah, so it was. I found that a little bit frustrating, but like I also. At the end of the day, if this is what got Jed, if that's kind of what has got Jed to this level to get him that hungry. I mean, you've seen his Twitter is killing me after these wins, where he's just posting those pictures, and it's like after Brentford, he was like, "I'm hungry. Let's see." I think he said after United, "I'm still hungry." And then what did he post on Saturday? Did you see this?
I think so.
He said, I can't remember what he said, but it was like it might have been on Instagram actually.
That's so. Why should you look for that?
He said, "I'm coming for everything," with a lion.
And he put
emoji.
a lion, mate. He's gone for he's talking England.
Yeah.
He must be. That's so funny. Postecoglou trying to take all the fucking. No, that's That's Ange. I'll tell you what. That's Ange trying to like save his back a little bit by being like, because everyone's been saying, why haven't you chosen Spence? All this stuff, and that's him being like, oh my god, he was the fucking. Fuck mate, he was the best fullback in the club. Fuck. Yeah. And then he's been like, nah, it was all part of playing, mate.
Yeah. I mean, I like it though. I don't really care. I know it's been frustrating, and not picking him in the Europa League I think was a scandalous decision that wasn't easy, and I understand that the squad dynamics and that kind of stuff in terms of picking the numbers and whatever was difficult, but like these fullback Porro and Doggy would just run into the ground, and I think we could have really done with Spence. We absolutely could have, but I'm so pleased we've got here. So I think I'm fine to just put all that in the past now and just really look forward to like his future at Spurs, because it's very, very bright, I think. Really, really bright. Like, we're talking, this could be a guy, when you think of his attributes, like how strong he is, how good he is in the transition, driving up the pitch on the right and the left and in the central areas as well when he does play a little bit more inverted. Like, this is a guy that I think is built for modern Premier League football, more so than a lot of fullbacks. And like, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm so bad at saying things on podcasts or in videos that I don't remember saying, and actually then sometimes they come back to make you look really either silly or like a genius. But I'm happy to say this. I think we could be having a conversation in a year's time that he is one of the best fullbacks in the league, like easily. 100%.
If he keeps this up, these levels aren't normal, because and do you know what I think he could be for us? Do you know every time you watch Reece James for Chelsea, and I know Reece James is always injured, but you're like, fuck's sake, he's so good. Like, no one can get past him. He's got that arrogance to him and that confidence that he just oozes confidence. And then in attack, he's just as good. He's just such a balanced fullback. And you watch like Reece James for Chelsea, and you're like, I wish we had him. Jed Spence can be that for us, 100%. And I feel like he'll grow into being more of a leader as well. And after you've seen the footage of him in like with the players, I never knew he was this like active with it. And we've been told he's introverted, he keeps himself to himself. Mate, he's like best mates with everyone now. Like, he's definitely got a voice in the change room, and you could just see like he's carried that confidence through with him onto the pitch, and just so good. Like, it's just so good to have him.
Also, he's got a very good relationship, obviously, with Brennan Johnson, and I think that if he does play on the right hand side that little bit more, like, I was really pleased with Johnson on Saturday. Like, I said it on the Ripple Effect actually. Last time I was on, which was in like September, October, that he's going to get 25 goal contributions this season, and he's 8 away in all comps, 2 goals. I get frustrated with Johnson, I really do, but
he's been injured as well.
He's been injured, come back, for a month. He's been out for a month before, obviously came back for the United game, but like in first start since the North London derby, which was a month ago. You know, he's got that attribute that he's got to be in that position. It's not lucky. It's like. He just like it was.
I was happy for him. I was really happy.
I love Brennan. I just think, I still think we need to make that. The thing is, it's really difficult, right? Because we've said it for so long. I still think we need one more winger, right? I still think we need another really good 1v1 winger that is going to create real threat and drag. It's difficult, right? Because do you go out and sign someone that is a right winger? Like someone like Semenyo, for example, who can play all across that front line. Right wing, left wing, striker as well, but mainly right wing and left wing. who has got that 1v1 ability, or do you go all out on a pure right winger, or, and I saw someone tweeting this earlier as well. I think it was Kish again, actually. To be fair,
it was the Doku Johnson debate, wasn't it?
Do you go out and sign a proper quality 1v1 left winger?
A Byron. Why do I always get his name wrong, mate?
I just say Jamie Gittins.
Stroke trying to say his name.
I don't want to be disrespectful to you, Jamie, because I really hope you sign for Spurs, but I'm leaving the Bino out because I actually don't know how to pronounce it. So I'm just going to go Jamie Gittins.
Yeah. Someone like him, basically.
To basically draw more men onto him to create more space for a player like Johnson. And that is what he thrives in, is in space. And it ain't lucky. He is frustrating when he's carrying the ball and trying to beat a man, because it is like, just do it. Just like for once, just
run
please.
Through cement trying to beat on a 1v1.
But when you see Sonny as sharp as he was, who is able to draw two men onto him to fire those balls across the box, Johnson is world class at getting into that space. He is. And that's why he's got 14 goals this season, and they're all basically the exactly same fucking goal.
Yeah, I know. I do wonder. Like, for me, I mean, doesn't mean get rid of Son, but just have someone that, and Son can come off and be fresh, ready to go. And yeah, I do think, to be honest, mate, they're so key right now because, I mean, you've seen them coming back. You've seen how much it gives us a boost. It does. But I don't see Johnson or Son as the end of this sort of like Ange era. I feel like they'll be phased out or be like bench players. I think Son will go at least, not this summer, but this summer after. Johnson will be a key player off the bench if we can keep that confidence going. If we can keep him being like a key asset, like a goal scoring threat. But I do feel like we have a lot of players that just need someone else to come in and unlock them. Because I was seeing a debate, it was Jackie Nicout talking about, I think he replied to Lily White Lab, and it was like, because and we can talk about Bentancur, the club's, Sammy Mockbell's reported that the club's talking to sort of Bentancur early days about a new contract, renewing his contract, and it's got a bit of debate going. I think one of him and Basuma have got to go, and I think it's going to be Basuma, but I think Bentancur, he's being relied upon as a six. He needs a player to unlock him, an out-and-out destroyer six. And I'm talking, not him, because we're never going to do this, but like a believer to come in, be that sort of, that destroyer next to him and give him a bit more license, and Bentancur become a bit more of a free-roaming 8 with more defensive sort of instructions or whatever. And I think it's the same with what we were saying just then. Like, you need other players to unlock the best of certain players in your squad. Yeah. You need other profiles to come in and complement. It's all about being complementary and to form partnerships. Yeah. And the same with Johnson and a winger. I think you would, and we've been saying this I remember doing a pod with you and Seb this time last year, maybe not, but like near the end of last season.
It was around this time.
We were saying Nico Williams, like before the Euros, before everyone was talking about him. How he would turn Johnson into that Raheem Sterling of 2019 under Pep, where you'd have Leroy Sane absolutely fucking ripping fullbacks to shreds, and Sterling just arriving unmarked at the back post, and he's got so many goal contributions. Sterling, you look at Sterling now, he's a limited player.
Yeah, but I also think with Sterling, it's like as the age is
true,
massive.
Yeah. But you know what I mean. Like,
you are right, 100% right.
He needed that other player to unlock him, I think.
Well, also people don't necessarily, like you're so right there. Like you talk about partnerships and stuff like that. I feel like people don't see wingers as partners when they are. They are because they play on opposite sides of the pitch. You see, like just because they have a partnership with their fullback, like Son and Udogie or Porro and Johnson or whatever, or that kind of right-hand sided or left-hand sided number 8 when Spurs play like that. It's about kind of connecting and creating those triangles. But people don't see, because they play on opposite sides, people don't necessarily see the wingers as partners when they are. And I think when you, if we can keep, this is why, like I keep saying this with Son, like he's not finished. He's just, if you can keep him fresh like that and bring in someone else that is going to properly compete with him for that spot next season and mean that we can use him even less, but use him sparingly and use him effectively, then you have got the kind of winger there that will draw two men onto him, and he can beat them, drop the shoulder, fire that ball across. I do not care if every single goal that Brennan Johnson scores for Spurs is tap-ins. People need to get away from this aesthetic bullshit that's kind of ruining a lot of the modern football discourse.
Because he's Welsh and they know Gareth Bale scores bangers.
But we had this conversation in the last pod, didn't we, about Bale in that modern game, didn't we? It'd be unbelievable. It'd be so difficult to stop. But I think that And also, like again, like you were saying there about like Johnson becoming a bench player. I don't think it's about that. Like I kind of think it's about part of what I was saying earlier about like how.
Squad.
Yeah, and also like it doesn't matter what your best 11 is. If you're going to go up against teams that play a little bit more open and going to want to come onto you away from home, then Johnson, when he's got more space to naturally thrive in. Whereas if the team sets up in a low block, you don't play Johnson. Like Spurs, you don't need to have a best 11. It's about managing the squad to win the game, and I think that's where Johnson is actually such a handy squad player. And when I say squad player, I don't mean a bench player. I just mean a like valued member of the squad.
Yeah.
People, and the problem is with Johnson. I say it all the time, and I've said this, and people have said it, and it's fair enough. Like, is Brennan Johnson £50 million worth of footballer? Probably not.
No.
What footballer is worth that in this modern day? Like, transfer values are so inflated in the modern game anyway. Is 25 goal contributions a season as a winger in the Premier League over the next 5 or 6 years, if he stays at Tottenham for that long, is that worth £50 million? That's worth more than £50 million because you need goal scorers. Did you see that? It made me laugh, but the guy actually had a point. Did you see that argument on AFTV between the two Arsenal fans where one of them was saying that we need a striker and the other one was saying we need a goal scorer?
And they were going, why are you arguing me? We agree with each other.
But the guy, I think the point that he was trying to make, he was just articulating himself quite badly because he just made it look like he was like...
If Martinelli was a Salah or a...
Exactly. I think that's the point he was trying to make. I think that's the point he was trying to make. But he just wasn't really... He just kind of was just going, we need a striker. No, we need a goal scorer. And it was like, what is... But I think that's the point he was trying to make. And that is where Johnson is cash money in those situations. But you can't put a price on those goals. You cannot do... You cannot.
And that's the thing... You want to get like an amalgamation of attacking assets that offer different things that you could bring on for different scenarios in a game. And we have seen as well, Ange adapts where we play more counter-attacking. We've seen it against Man City so many times where we get the better of them. We're going to get onto Man City soon.
Yeah.
But like where we've played more counter-attacking, and that's where Johnson thrives. So I do think there's a future for him, but I don't see him as... He's not going to be one of the main players of this sort of... or the catalysts of this Ange project. He will just be a steady Eddie and someone that who can get goals across the season. But
that's great though.
He needs to, brilliant. And you do need those players in the team. It's just where there's a lot of expectations on him right now because we haven't got those game changers that need to come in and finish this project off. We haven't got them yet. So there's such an expectation that he needs to pull like a rabbit out of a hat, and he hasn't got that in his locker. He's just a steady Eddie. Like he'll give you his best he can, and he'll collect goals over the course of the season. But and that's the thing. I mean, what you were saying there about, mate, Liverpool dominated the league, won the Champions League without an out-and-out goal striker because they had the wing pair of Mane and Salah, and they were unstoppable for about 3-4 seasons. And that's what we want. Like we've got Solanke. Solanke's not an out-and-out goal scorer. He just works so hard off. Yeah, he's very sacrificial.
Convert chances when they come.
This team needs 2 out-and-out world-class wingers, and that's way easier said than done, but that is so true. But that complementary has to be there. That different profile has to be there. We've been crying out for it for so long.
Am I right in saying as well, like on that point, that we're the only team in the Premier League with more than 4 players who have got over 10 goal contributions? Is that right?
I wouldn't be surprised, and our goal difference is up to 15. Like we scored goals, haven't we?
We've got Solanke on 10 goal. This is goals and assists. We've got Solanke on 10 goals and assists in the Premier League. Yeah. Solanke's got 10. Decky's got 11. Johnson's got 11. Madison's got 14, and Son's got 15. I think we are. Wow. That stat was definitely true a few weeks ago. I can't remember if it still is. I'll try and figure it out now.
Well, Liverpool probably got.
I don't know. You know, to have 4 players on over 10 goal contributions.
Diaz, Salah, Szoboszlai.
In the Prem, I don't. Maybe. Yeah. Let me have a look now. But I'm pretty sure that Regardless, it was definitely true a few weeks ago.
We just named the winners of the Prem.
Mate, Salah's got 41. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I don't think Liverpool do. I think I'm looking at it now. No, Liverpool don't. Tottenham, I think, are the only team in the Prem that have got 4 or more players with 10 plus goal contributions. That's crazy. And that just backs up the point about that did make me laugh though, that video. It was very funny.
Yeah.
But
because I was like, what? I don't understand. Like, we agreeing with each other. I don't understand what I've said that you disagree with. And he was like,
Yeah.
"We need a goal scorer."
Yeah, let him cook though. I just think he didn't articulate himself properly. But Spurs have got those goal scorers, and they come in different ways, and that's what.
Yeah.
If we could just fucking stop conceding goals, I still think this team has got real potential. I really do. I just think it's just like
it does. We are. I think there's just an anxiety that we don't kick on at the right moments as a club, and right now we will capitulate if we don't go. And I'm talking capitulate by selling Romero, selling like core players to this team before we finish this product. And then we're always chasing ourselves, and that's the thing. I mean, we've just signed Danso, who fits the system, perfect centre back to come in and be like a third. Are you having a piss?
No, it did sound like it, didn't it? That sounded so pissy. I just squirted my remnants of my water bottle into my glass.
You're getting excited about.
For audio listeners, that sounded very pissy.
Danso, I mean, he's a quality, competent, not backup, because he's going to be playing a lot of games because Romero and Van der Ven's injury record. But this is the thing: Spence coming in, and now you're looking at we need a left centre back, a left back, a winger, and a 6.
Yeah,
that's not. And we're talking about Danso, who's 25 mil on a loan and a buy option. Like, we're not talking about extortionate prices for these players. I mean, I do think we need to really splash the cash on a winger and a 6, because they're crucial to winning, actually taking that step ahead and winning things. But when we're talking about these backups or these squad players, I mean, we know we can be smart. We can be. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. But I feel like some of the tools certainly are there. We just need to reinforce it. Eze Sagna says, "Would you start Dane Scarlett?"
You got me excited. Then I thought it's Eze. What's going on here?
No. Sorry. Yeah. Mate, Dane Scarlett. Again, we're talking about there's not much pressure. I really hope to see more cameos like that from Dane Scarlett and just get him more games, because even when he's gone out on loan, he's not got as many games. And
did you see my tweet at the weekend?
No, I don't think so.
I said I really feel like Dane Scarlett's going to score a big goal for us.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
I feel it in my balls. I don't really know why. I fucking liked it.
Oh, sorry, mate. I can't believe I forgot.
No, I feel like it. I don't know. I've got this
Europa
feeling.
League semis or something, just like pop up with a header or something like that.
Like a bit like the Elfsport one. I don't know.
Ajax, last minute.
Oh my god.
Dane Scarlett.
It's Dele Alli. It's Dane Scarlett. They've done it. Imagine.
Who would be the Dele Alli touch? It'd be
Lucas Bergvall.
Yeah, it would. Well, Jack says, should we consider rotating in the league in order to try and keep everyone fresh for Europe, or should we try to manage both competition, hope that we can do it? Again, we're not saying I think it's the second.
We can't just rotate massively. We have to rotate a bit, but we can't just throw the league
going.
now. Yeah, exactly.
And we need to keep chemistry, cohesion going. We need to get patterns going that they're going to replicate because football's about moments, isn't it? Yeah. You can't not play together and then all of a sudden you're all thrown in because you're the best players in the team and you haven't played for each other for ages. But I'm just like a doggy coming off at 60 minutes, etc. Like decisions like that.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. We've won the game by then. Bring on a doggy comes off, Porro comes on, and that's how over a course of the season you save the legs, and that's what we didn't have earlier this season when Spence weren't playing. So we've got. They're coming back at the perfect time. Not at the perfect time where we're now only in one extra competition, but perfect time right now for the circumstances we're in right now, where Europa League, we've got AZ Alkmaar, is it Frankfurt or Ajax, and then Lazio, probably. Get it up, mate. Show it on the screen if you want. So, I mean, these are games where these need to be the games we need to look to and think, who do we want playing in those games? What players are going to make an impact? But here we go. So it could be Olympiacos or Lazio, let's say. Hopefully not, but that's probably the most likely outcome.
If Lazio get knocked out and we get through on that side, that's massive. Semi-final against Pools and Olympiacos or Bodo Glimt. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, and then obviously the final could be out of United, Sociedad, Lyon, Fenerbahce, Roma, Atletico Bilbao, sorry.
Steaua Bucharest as well.
Yeah, Rangers.
Is that Steaua Bucharest? Oh yeah, Rangers.
this is the thing. Like, we just need to just. And it's about managing your team. Like okay, let's talk about Romero. Apparently, Romero is possibly back in training. We don't know if that's like 100% confirmed. But
yeah, can I just ask you a very quick question before you say that?
Yeah, mate.
Do you think we're on the better side? We were having this conversation
100%.
because we were literally taking off to go Benidorm when the draw was happening, and we were having this discussion. But do you think we're on the better side?
Yeah, 100%. Like, mate, I would fear for the Fenerbahce Rangers away game.
You'd rather face them in a one. You'd rather face all these teams here in a one-off game.
50-50 stadium split.
Yeah.
100% I would. 100%. But it's about going to these like Roma, Athletic Bilbao, like these, and also they've got European pedigree. And it's like there's something about cup competitions where pedigree comes in, and there's something in the DNA, and it's like you want to just get to that final and just see what happens because we've got the quality to get past and win. Man United aren't going to survive Europa League. I think they'll get knocked out next round. I think everyone's talking about Man United just because it's Man United. They do not have the depth to survive, and also Amorim. I still think Amorim's under pressure, so they haven't got the luxury. I know Postecoglou's under pressure. That's a stupid thing to say, but they haven't got the same luxury as we do. I don't think we've got the players coming back at the right time. Man United are so sort of everything's blown out of proportion because they're Man United. That pressure builds up, and when if they like started playing kids in the Premier League, everyone would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they were like, "No, we're going for Europa." They were not going to do that. I think they're going to crash out of the Europa League, mate. I really do.
So United.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see them. They don't have the same luxury as us in a way because of their global status. If they still keep dropping points to the Prem, and they start prioritising Europa League, I don't think they'd have it. They won't have that. The media won't have it. The fans won't have it. Anyway, but yeah, Romero was pictured in training supposedly. We got Manchester City on Wednesday. How are you feeling there? And I saw a question as well earlier about would you play Kulusevski? I would play Kulusevski to be honest because his
He always plays well against City, doesn't he?
He always plays well against City, but
I thought
again,
so
it's one
leggy
of
at the
those
weekend.
things.
Though,
Yeah,
he?
it's one of those things where it doesn't matter. He plays well against City. Just bring him on, mate. Start Madison. He started on the bench. I'd start Madison. I'd keep playing Bergvall, Bentancur. I'd play Son or Odebear. Maybe even it's a game for like Odebear to come on and have a go at like a Rico Lewis or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't start Odebear, but I actually maybe. I don't know.
Son's coming off a good game, but we know 2 game a week Son.
Yeah, but he did come off at like 60 minutes, didn't he? I know, coming off like 70 odd minutes.
It's true though. It's true.
Yeah, Tell and Son came off at like 70 minutes, I think, 75. It was just before the goal because Odebear come on for Son and he was involved in the third goal and that was 75. So I think he played for over an hour. So
he'll probably start Son. He'll probably start. So. That'll be sort of like a conscious decision, I think. So what you got? Son,
Tell,
Odebear,
maybe, or Kulusevski on the right, or Johnson. Do you keep Johnson in the team? He was.
Johnson started. He's off the back of 2 goals. Start Johnson again.
Yeah. Then I'm kind of. This is all sort of pointing to Kulusevski not playing, I think. But then I don't really. Kulusevski always plays so well against them. You think about that driving threat from the centre of the pitch. Do you play him in midfield? Do you go back to Kulusevski and Madison in midfield for this game? I don't know.
Well,
maybe not play Berg.
Is not there.
Yeah, I think I probably would play Bergvall for that bit of physicality and that calm. But then it's like, do you play Bergvall, Kulusevski, and I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow because I've been thinking about this all day, like who we'd play. I really don't know.
Is this where Bergvall announced himself to the world and absolutely dominates a De Bruyne, a Gundogan, and a
mate,
Nico
De Bruyne
Gonzalez
on Sunday? That was painful.
It was terrible. Yeah,
it's like a horse at the National. It's just like
time to shoot.
Yeah, put the white sheets up.
To be honest, and again, we're in a situation where it's like, one, we got nothing to lose. We want to see a good game. We're at home. There's a buzz about us again, and we've got depth again. So it's not even like who starts. We're in a situation where it's more about like who's. It's not about who's not starting now. Yeah. It's not like we know we're going to see fucking Werner on the left-hand side. What would you do if he is? Because he's back in training as well, isn't he? But it's like we're not. It's not like we're going to see. We know we're not going to see that. There's an excitement back in the air, and Mikey Moore as well. Like, what impact will he have? If he comes on, maybe he will, maybe he won't. Again, we're just in a really fortunate position again out of nowhere. Not even fortunate because we deserve this. We deserve this. Like we this is just what's been sort of taken from us. From the second month of the season, and it hasn't been given back, and it's like we finally got these players to use, and it's like it feels weird. Like Odebear's been so good. Odebear's performances look so sharp, and he's growing into himself, and he's going to come in. And again, do you know how at the beginning of the season where Pat Matasar weren't playing? And he came in and he was just sharp because he'd been coming off the bench and having really good cameos, and all of a sudden he was scoring goals. I think Odebear will have that impact and then really grow into his own in that run into Europa League. Yeah, that's what I think.
Do you know what I think? We've been gaslit as a fan base. I was just thinking this as you were saying that, like to believe that, and this kind of goes back to the point I was making earlier about the whole best 11 thing, right? No, I don't think any other fan base in the world will think like we do because we've been deprived of that depth for such a long time.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
I've kind of just I just think now, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to see the best team that is available for the opposition that we're playing, and we've got players on the bench that can affect it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever felt like that. I'm not saying, look, our squad is not perfect, and it has not got the depth yet, I don't think, but I feel like we're maybe starting to get there with the way that we're sort of piecing the squad together. It needs more, it needs way more, and it needs quality as well, proven quality that is going to come in and add that and take us to the next level over time. But like, I feel like for so long, it was so, especially under Poch, we were so set on that team. And it was like, that is the best team. Maybe a couple of other players coming out, like whether it was when Moore came in. And all that
Lucas
kind of
and Lamella and that.
Yeah.
We're crying out for those players.
Yeah. Whereas now it's like, I feel good about the rotation. I feel like this is normal. That's how other fans feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Villa, look at the way they rotate their team. And like, you know, it's not, I don't know. I feel like because like we hardly rotated under Ange and before, and like under Poch especially, where we had such a set best team, you kind of get attached to those players. And like, no, they can't be dropped. They can't be, and you see it as them getting dropped rather than like them being rotated. I feel like we've been there as a Spurs fan base for so long, whereas now it's actually like, no, I'm excited to see what the team is. I'm like, okay, what's he going to do? Like, who's going to play in this game? Like, what's going to happen?
Well, I think it's like a desperation to see a preferred 11 as well.
Yeah,
and it's that because actually, you know that photo that goes around from Poch, and from the Poch days, and it's like Son, Ali, Eriksson, Wanyama, Dembele, Kane, Lloris, Vertonghen,
what the lineup?
Rose.
The lineup
yeah,
was,
yeah.
So how did Spurs not win anything with this team?
Yeah. Didn't we play like one game that season with that team?
Yeah, well, you know how when Liverpool beat us in the Champions League final.
Yeah,
that was the only team I think I'm right in saying that was the only time that starting 11 ever played together. Ever.
Oh, what?
The whole team? 11, like that specific starting 11, that was the only time, and arguably at that time it was their best team on paper. That was the only ever time that team played a game together.
Who? Liverpool or Spurs?
Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool.
Yeah, that Liverpool.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because they had, I know what you mean. Yeah, well, that's the thing, and it's like there is a misconception always, and there always has been about, we need this 11, as if that's like sustainable. This is the thing why that Kevin Danso is such a key signing for us, and we're crying out for him. Tell is going to be such a key player for us. These types of players. I've got a feeling Tell's going to score against City.
Do you?
I think.
What did you make of his performance on the weekend?
I feel like we might get a draw. I think
we'll win. I feel really confident we're going to win.
But City is. I think we're in a good place. City are in a good place, but I still think
they are such a threat.
They're going to come up rolled up. Like Mamouche is going to be on fire. Like they're going to be.
Do you think Haaland's back? I'm not sure he's back.
Oh, he's not, is he?
They do miss that.
Yeah,
hot take: City miss Haaland.
Yeah, they were so dismantled as well. I mean, Liverpool was so hard because Liverpool they dismantled us. They're ridiculous.
Mate, Liverpool made them look. Liverpool was so good yesterday.
It's hard. It's hard to preview a game when Man City have just had their pants pulled down and like exposed in front of the whole world.
I'll give you a preview. Spurs are going to win 3-0.
You think?
3-1.
3-1?
Yep.
Mate.
I think Bergvall's going to score. I don't know. I'm feeling fucking up for it. 4 wins in a row.
2-1. 2-1 Spurs. Tell. I think Son. and Marmoush are going to score for City.
Yeah. I'll take that.
And I think Big Kev, mate,
Yeah.
is going to drop a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I love Kevin Danso.
I just love him. I just love, like, his just persona. Like, he's
Yeah.
not cocky, he's not arrogant, he's just passionate. You can just tell he loves putting on the shirt.
Yeah, that was
And you need more players like that. Yeah, you need, like, even when that interview before his debut against Man United, do you see him, like, trying to wink?
yeah.
No, but like, I just loved him from that moment as well, because like you could tell he was feeling himself, he was confident, but he's not like he's not a diva.
Arrogant player.
No. He was just being kind, and you could tell that's not in his nature.
Good egg.
He's just a good guy, like good, humble, just out and out defender.
And I like the fact that his name's Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Danso, mate.
Great name.
What a name. He just sounds like he's going to be an unbelievable defender.
What did you think of Tell's performance on Saturday?
I don't like the hate he's getting.
No, neither do I. I think he struggled big time, but I'm not on board with it.
I kind of feel like this is like we're just seeing a natural, organic process of a player adapting.
Look at what people were saying about Solanke after his first fucking 3 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell's 19. It's just like...
And he's not an out-and-out striker yet, especially not the Premier League. That's not what his position is right now. It could be in the future, but he's 19 years old, and it's like we're seeing actually just a normal development of a young player, but 100%. The pressure's on because Solanke's been so good. But Solanke's
and also there was
27.
there was so much chatter at. If Tell come from fucking Timbuktu and he didn't come from Bayern Munich and every man and his dog weren't interested in him, nobody would be that arsed. He is a very special talent, but I think it's going to take a bit of time. And like, I also think that he was better against United, even though he was a bit frustrating in front of goal, because he had Madison there. I think Madison, where he's more of that natural number 10 and more of a creator, maybe than Bergvall, despite how good Bergvall was in the game. Madison loves having a striker to play with and bounce off and like 1-2s and kind of link up the play. Whereas Tell, I think there was quite a few times where we go into Tell and he chest it down. Okay, maybe his touch and his control weren't great in certain moments, but like I think he'd be looking for someone to play off, and there wouldn't really be anyone there because Kulusevski's not that type of 10. So I don't really give a shit, to be honest. He wasn't great, but
can you imagine him actually if he'd signed for Man United? Within these 3 games, there'd be like highlight reels.
He'd look like the best player.
Well, he would, but
it's like
I
Dorgu,
feel like
isn't it? It's like, how like someone goes to United. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Dorgu is good.
Dorgu's been right as well.
Someone goes to United and it's like immediately they look like the best player, and then eventually their level gets dragged down to the median over the next few months, and then it's just like, oh god,
compilations, all this stuff.
Exactly, like that happened to Dorgu.
I think Tell not going to Man United from a personal standpoint is really positive for him for his career, because Spurs he can struggle without that spotlight being on him, and he can really struggle his way into form, and that's what's going to happen when you're a 19-year-old kid adapting to a new league and there's a lot of pressure on you. But again, we're in a situation where these Premier League games, like, perfect for him. There's nothing on the line. Like, there's nothing. Just go out there and each game just focus on refining your talent, because what Tell's got is exactly what Bergvall had. Like, obviously, different position, different player. But what I'm saying is, you can tell he's got every mineral, every element of being a top-class player. He just needs to refine elements of his game, decision-making, all this sort of stuff. But that's going to come with time. That's going to come with just consistent game time, which he's going to get because we've got injuries and he's the only one that really can play as a number 9. But when Solanke comes back, you're going to see the best out of him as well, because he'll play in his probably natural position at the moment, and form a nice partnership with the likes of Solanke and a doggy. Sorry, I started there because I just thought. I can see a world where, for some games, because I mean, a midfield would be like abandoned, but some games to help Tell, or maybe seeing out games, maybe like the end of the games, because Odebear comes central a lot. I wonder whether we see a Solanke, Odebear 10, Tell on the left, and a doggy on the as left back, like going forward, like when we're maybe in control of games, to try and get the best out of Tell and have those players around him. Because
I don't hate that. I think Tell could like
change dovetail with Odebear, and they could take up that pressure of each other. I feel like it's about, we need to start tuning Tell out a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, and it's going to take a bit of time. I'm not. I think he's shown enough glimpses so far for us to be able to get excited. I think, and I'm not just talking about Spurs. I'm talking about at Bayern, obviously, as well. But yeah, it'd be fine. I think it'd be fine. Yeah. I genuinely think it'd be fine. I'm not. It wasn't great on Saturday, but I think it's about getting the right kind of players around him, like you just said there, and giving him just a bit of patience and time to kind of thrive. Because he's a young talent coming to a new league, clearly backs himself, clearly rates himself. Maybe he was trying a little bit too hard over the course of the last couple of games, but it's because he's got self-belief and he wants to play well for the team. So, yeah. And also now we've got Scarlett as well. There's an option to we've actually got a striker on the bench that you can. Yeah. I'd hate to say it.
He kind of looks better, doesn't he?
No, he's miles better, mate. Tell no one that, Heather. But I was going to say, I'd actually rather have Scarlett on the bench than Richarlison. I think I actually would. I think I'm just a bit done with Richie, to be honest. I just don't think he's got
I'm in the same boat. He's not
mobility to play in the system at all. I think he's done.
I really like Scarlett. I just like his energy, his movement. His movement looked really sharp when he came on. But I think
I love the black boots as well. I like his aesthetic.
Yeah, he's got a sick aesthetic. You know he's going to be such a good player. It's just when he explodes, I think, with Scarlett. And again, I keep saying it, these Premier League games, to sort of just get him playing.
Yeah.
When there's nothing on the line.
And come on quite a lot at the end of last season, didn't he?
Rely on him because of squad numbers. Yeah, and we've known for a while now, Postecoglou really likes him for the system. He's preferred him over Lancashire, he's preferred him over Valise.
I forgot Valise existed.
Oh my God, me too. I forgot about him. Oh my days. But we'd tell what was I going to say about that? Yeah, if he was in Dane Scarlett's position, if Tell had come through our academy, everyone would be like, he's going to be so good. I think it's because we've been hearing how he's this wonder kid from Bayern Munich, hasn't been playing that much, but when he does, he's got a really good goal to minute ratio.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of expectation. If he'd come through the academy, everyone would be like, mate, this kid's going to the top. He just needs to sort of refine his talent. Mate, I'm so confident. And again, I said it last week, I'm kind of glad that he's not too good for us, because I think he's now realised this is a sick place to develop myself and grow with a young squad instead of being. He's not good enough for Bayern. He's not
right now.
The players they have. No. But I'm saying I feel like he's just made a good move.
Yeah, I
think it's a good move all round. And again, he'll. What is he? A 6-year contract if he signs? Perfect for him personally. And then hopefully by then we've generated a proper squad where we're competing for things, and then we can reassess. And I'm talking way in the future, but we need players. He'll be a really important part of our future. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everyone, get in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, review on Spotify. Thank you so much for listening. Ben, you're going 3-0, 3-1 City?
3-1. Come back.
What is going on, mate?
When we win 4 in a row.
Why is it that Ipswich, I was like, especially in 5 minutes, first 5 minutes, I was like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, here we
and then
go.
Man City were breeze past, at home. Yeah, don't worry. I'm saying 2-1, I think.
Come you Spurs.
2-1. Oh, Spurs. Legends, everyone. Thanks so much.
All the best.